Welcome to a Legendarium special about the big bugs of the Carboniferous era. In the comments section, please let me know which, if any, of these insects you would have liked to have the chance to study if you could travel back to the Carboniferous. Over 70 million years before the first dinosaurs appeared on Earth, a far different group of animals reigned supreme. Earth grew more oxygen-rich than at any other time before or since during the Carboniferous era, reaching 35% oxygen. Vast and green swamps filled with towering ferns and tree-trees that pumped oxygen into the atmosphere, and when they died, they escaped open-air decomposition that would have pulled oxygen back out of the atmosphere. Instead, they sank back into the swamps and formed coal deposits. The air grew hot and humid during this period, which lasted from about 360 to 290 million years ago. This made it the perfect environment for animals that diversified greatly. Extra oxygen served as a vitamin, allowing insects more lift and making it easier for them to fly. The extra oxygen also made it easier for insects to breathe, for they took oxygen through their bodily tissues and it spread to every part of their body. So more than 360 million years before Robert A. Heinlein published Starship Troopers, giant insects ranging in size from cat-sized scorpions to large proto-cockroaches ruled the Earth. Firstly, MEGANEURA MONYI is one of the largest known flying insects of the Carboniferous period. It had a wingspan of up to 2.5 feet and lived between 305 and 299 million years ago in what is now Europe. MEGANEURA MONYI closely resembled a modern-day dragonfly in appearance. It thrived in open habitats rather than heavily forested areas. Again, this insect had excellent sight with large compound eyes adapted for long-distance sight. Scientists believe that this insect fed on other bugs and amphibians. MEGANEURA MONYI's legs had strong spines that allowed it to snatch up prey in the air and hold them in place as it ate. Based on fossil evidence, it can be assumed that MEGANEURA MONYI's mouth had powerful mandibles with large and sharp teeth for crushing and slicing any bug that happened across its path. Secondly, ARTHROPLEURA armati became the largest land invertebrate to have ever lived on Earth. A species of giant millipede, it lived in North America around 320 million years ago. While not a true insect, it is part of the arthropod phylum along with MEGANEURA. ARTHROPLEURA armati grew over 8 feet in length and over 1.5 feet wide, though some incomplete fossils suggest they grew even larger. It had a flat, armor-plated body including 30 jointed segments and 60 legs, or 1 pair of legs per body segment. At first, scientists thought this arthropod was a predator with strong mouthparts designed for cutting up prey. However, more fossil evidence points to ARTHROPLEURA armata being a vegetarian instead, feeding on plant matter as it scurried across the forest floor. Although many fossils of the species have been discovered, not a single specimen had a preserved mouth, leading scientists to conclude it did not have the strong mouthparts needed to be a predator. Fossils of its gut and feces include plant matter such as fern spores. Thirdly, PULMONOSCORPIUS KIRKTONENSIS, a large scorpion species that lived between 336 and 326 million years ago, dwelled in Scotland. It resembled a present-day scorpion and grew as large as 2 feet long. PULMONOSCORPIUS KIRKTONENSIS had 4 eyes, a pair of median eyes used for spatial differentiation, and a pair of lateral eyes that served mainly as light detectors. This arthropod mainly fed on smaller arthropods, amphibians, and early reptiles. It likely used its front claws and tail like today's scorpions do. It clamped onto prey with its claws and injected them with venom from the stinger on its tail before feeding on them. Fourthly, Meganeura enormis, a giant flying insect, lived 309 million years ago in what is now North America. Close in size to MEGANEURA MONYI, it had a wingspan of 2 feet long. Meganeura enormis is believed to have been an herbivore that fed on plant juices. Its closest relatives possessed beak-like mouthparts with long, sharp stylets and a pump-like organ that pierced plants and sucked their juices, a bit like a vegetarian vampire. Scientists also believe that Meganeura enormis had a pair of small winglets located in front of a larger pair of wings. Insects reached their biggest sizes about 300 million years ago during the late Carboniferous and early Permian periods. Some of these other insects included Bojophlebia procopi, a species of mayfly with a wingspan of 1.5 feet long. Bladoptera, cockroach-like insects, also first appeared during this period and grew twice the size of some modern cockroaches, nearly 4 feet long. They had a similar build to today's roaches, possessing wings, a flat body, long antennae, and a disc-like shield that covered most of its body. It is likely they behaved like modern roaches, scurrying across the forest floor in search of dead plants and animal matter. Of course, small insects with wingspans less than an inch long existed alongside their huge cousins during the Carboniferous. But after the evolution of predatory birds about 150 million years ago, insects began growing smaller, not only because smaller insects had a better chance of avoiding predatory birds, but because oxygen levels began to drop down and made it possible for smaller insects to breathe more easily. And in this way, the reign of the big bugs of the Carboniferous period came to an end. That wraps things up for this episode of The Legendarium. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, press like. If you want to see more, press subscribe. And if you've got anything to say, let me know in the comments section. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day.